Hey y'all, welcome back for another hunting ammo ballistics gel test. More 7 mag, yes please. We've got Federal Premium, their 160 grain trophy bonded tip, and of course 7mm Remington Magnum. And here's your box for that Federal Premium 160 grain trophy bonded tip in 7 mag. We've got our elk icon right there. Cool looking box. Let's go ahead and flip it around to the back. Here is all of your promo info for the trophy bonded tip. Bullet. Feel free to stop, pause, and read that if you would like. Well, bullet and load as a whole. And it is meant for big game, medium to large animals, deer, bear, elk, and more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chart here. Muzzle velocity is stated at 2,900 feet per second. We'll see how close we get to that. I know a lot of people have wanted me to test a trophy bonded tip load on the channel. Here you go. We will be doing more in the future, of course. This is just the first one that we're getting to. Go ahead and pull some out and take a look. Comes in your Federal plastic ammo holder. It does have the blue sealant in the primer pockets, standard per Federal. Let's whip it out. Nickel plated cases, beautiful ammo. This stuff is really nice looking. Let's go shoot it and see how it does. And my test rifle today is my Tikka T3X laminate stainless, chambered in 7mm Remington Magnum, of course. It's got a 24.3 inch barrel. It did not come threaded. I had that done after the fact. Up top, we've got a Leupold VX Freedom scope. And coming on back, I've got to show you one of my handmade leather cartridge cuffs. Check out my website, masonleather.com, to get yourself one. I would love to make you one. This one, we've got 7 mag stamped right in to let everybody know the lightning is about to strike. I've also got one of my super thick Latigo leather slings here. Check out my website for these as well. If you're looking for a leather sling that will last a lifetime, you're going to want to check these out. And coming around to the other side, I've got to show you my elk design. And real quick, if you're watching this video anytime around when it came out, I'm having a huge sale on my website, masonleather.com. Go check it out and get yourself something.
We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description.
So let's go ahead and shoot it. And here are your velocities for that 160 grain trophy bonded tip out of the 7 mag. Minimum 2942, maximum 2953 for an average of 2946. And look at that spread, 10.9 feet per second. That's tight stuff. And we are down here at the blocks after shooting those 160 grain trophy bonded tips out of the 7 mag. We captured all 3 bullets. Very consistent penetration from all 3. Let's go ahead and look at penetration. Our shallowest right there is about 26.5 inches. We got one at 27 and one at 28 inches. Deep, good, consistent penetration. Also looks like we got some very nice expansion on all 3 bullets. It's a little tough to see through the block, but you can kind of make it out. They look really good. Can't wait to dig them out and take a look. Let's go ahead and go back and look at the first block. Try and take a look at the wound cavities. And the wound cavities on these aren't particularly noteworthy. They're not super explosive or anything like that. We have controlled expansion up till about the 2-inch mark. A lot of loads do start sooner than that. Then we've got the wound track going back, gosh, it's narrow pretty much the whole way. Tapers off at about the 10.5 inch mark. Never gets super duper wide, which sort of makes sense. I mean, this load, it is a bonded bullet. It is meant to penetrate deep. It's marketed for your larger medium game like elk and stuff like that. So what people are looking for more than anything is deep penetration, and that is what we got. And I mean, it did punch the first block around a little bit, but I think that's more because it's a 7 mag more than the bullet itself. Anyway, let's go ahead and dig them out and take a look. It is what it is. All right, y'all, we shot it. Let's talk about it. The Federal Premium Trophy Bonded Tip 160 out of the 7 mag. Weight retention wise, we saw 153, 159, and 160 grains for an average of 157 grains retained weight, 98% weight retention. You can't ask for much more than that unless you're talking about a solid copper monolithic bullet. This is incredible. Great weight retention. And expansion-wise, 0.65, 0.71, and 0.75 inches for an average of about 0.7 inches expanded diameter. That's 2.5x expansion. Great weight retention, great expansion. The stuff's doing great so far. And take a look at the photo of these bullets. The expansion isn't wacky and jagged where, you know, the number's getting skewed larger. It's pretty darn uniform all the way around. So you're getting a nice large frontal area pushing through that target. And something that I thought was fun that I just want to point out, look at that bullet in the middle. There's a little T stamped in the base of the bullet, I guess for, you know, trophy bonded tip or something. I just thought that was neat. And velocity-wise, our high velocity was 2954, our low was 2943 for an average of 2947 versus the factory spec velocity of 2900 feet per second. So we came in 47 feet per second faster than box spec, and even our low velocity was 43 feet per second faster than box spec. Incredible. This is what I want to see out of factory ammo. I think this is what we all want to see. If we're shooting the stuff out of the most commonly used barrel length for a given cartridge, that's the number that needs to be on the box. Not some bogus number where they use a barrel that's way longer than most people are using in that cartridge of particularly tight spec so it goes extra fast. Excellent velocity. And our estimated velocity down there at 100 yards is about 2,741 feet per second. And penetration-wise, not only did we get great expansion, we got really good penetration too. 26.5, 27, and 28 inches for an average of about 27 inches of penetration. That's great. That's what you want to see for your medium to medium-large game. That's in that range where a lot of your bigger game ammo performs. Kinetic energy wise, with a 160 grain bullet going on average 2,947 feet per second, we're looking at 3,085 foot-pounds at the muzzle and about 2,668 foot-pounds down there at 100 yards. And that's towards the top end of what I've seen for most of your factory hunting ammo in 7 mag. A direct effect of that velocity actually meeting spec and exceeding it even. And I will point out, this stuff is hitting at 100 yards as hard as a lot of your 308 hunting ammo is at the muzzle. Stuff's hitting hard. And a quick announcement before we get to my final thoughts, if you'd like early access to my videos weeks and even months in advance of everyone else, become a channel member. The links will be in the video description and the pinned comment. Thanks y'all. Alright y'all, time for my final thoughts on that Federal Premium Trophy Bonded Tip 160 load out of the 7 mag. Across the board, I think this stuff did excellent. 98% weight retention, 2.5x expansion, velocity that actually beat the box spec, penetration that was right there in line with a lot of your great big game loads. I think it did excellent. Let's take a look at the back of the box and see if it did what they say it's gonna do. So it's meant for big game, medium to large animals, deer, bear, elk, and more. I assume they mean, you know, moose, caribou, stuff like that as well, muskox, who knows. It says Trophy Bonded Tip combines the deep penetration of a heavily built bullet with match grade accuracy. Now, I don't know about match grade accuracy. I didn't test it for that. I'm sure it's plenty accurate enough for any hunting you're gonna do. I was able to hit the block with it every time, no problem. But it definitely gave us the deep penetration of a heavily built bullet. Seems like a nice heavily built bullet. It held together. So all in all, I'm extremely pleased with the performance of this stuff. If I was going after bigger game, you know, bigger medium game on up to your largest North American game, this trophy bonded tip stuff from Federal would be a top contender. Honestly, for me, it's right up there with the Terminal Ascent line. If I were to have to pick between the two, it would probably just be whichever one shot better out of my particular rifle. So if you've used this ammo on game, let me and everyone else know down in the comments how it did for you. And check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. And there are hundreds of reviews on my website, so you can see what real hunters have to say about their Mason leather gear. And also tons of photos showing all the customizable options, including name, initial, and caliber stamping, as well as wild game designs and more. Everything is handmade by me right here in the USA. I would love to be a part of your hunt through my leather gear. And it helps support this channel, so I can bring you more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests, and lots of other cool stuff in the future. The link will be in the video description and the pinned comment, or you can just type masonleather.com into your web browser.
And click one of these cards for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.